Fuck Como. Fuck Como. Mamdani is a jihadi. Mamdani is a jihadi. Curtis Sliwa is an anti-Semite. He hates Hasidic Jews. He hates ultra-Orthodox Jews. But he'll be good for New York City, which is good for America and it's good for Jews. Even if the guy hates you, he's going to enact policy that's good for you. Doesn't matter what his personal beliefs are. I've seen a bunch of stuff from Curtis Sliwa talking really, really negatively against Jews. The thing is, at least he's honest about it. I don't think Andrew Cuomo likes Jews, but he does photo ops with Hasidic rabbis so that he can get their vote. Yeah, Mamdani definitely hates Jews. He's very open about it. So again, if you're going to be like, who's the guy who hates the Jews the least? You might think it's Andrew Cuomo, but that's bullshit. Andrew Cuomo's a motherfucker, wicked motherfucker. First of all, he has bad policy. He's just a bad politician, bad at making good policies for the people. But also he's a bad motherfucker, okay? There's a lot of people that are dead because of him. There's a lot of crime because of him. Andrew Cuomo's a piece of shit. Mamdani's a jihadi. Curtis Lee was an anti-Semite, but he'll make good policy for New York, and that's good for America, and that's good for the Jews in America. And worldwide, because I'm saying New York City. Yeah, New York City is essentially America. Yeah, America is New York City. So, in this whole race, what I keep seeing people say is like, I'm not going to vote for Mamdani because he's a jihadi, so I'm going to vote for Andrew Cuomo because Sliwa doesn't have a chance, and Sliwa should drop out. What the fuck are you talking about? I have 2 points to attack you on. First of all is, since when is polling accurate? Polling, to begin with, is never accurate. I'll give you 2 reasons why polling is not accurate. One is because the polls are done by people with an agenda against Sliwa. That's factual. Like they did polling against Trump, yeah? The people doing the polling have an agenda. It's like when you're trying to prove something with gematria or with studies. If you want to prove your point because you have an agenda, you'll be able to prove it even if it's wrong. And the second thing is, polls are inaccurate for a reason like this. Let me give you an example. We know that 4 out of 5 Jews are going to die at the end of days, right? Only 1 out of 5 are going to survive. So does that mean I can tell you that, from this video, if I get 100 viewers, 20%, 20 people will survive and 80 will die? No, because maybe all 100 of you will survive, maybe all 100 of you will die. Just because there's a general population that 20% will survive, it doesn't mean 20% from this video. It could be from my video, you're all wicked or you're all good. Just because something's true generally doesn't mean it's true in a specific context. So if you can get 100 people together or 1 million people together and poll, it doesn't mean it's a reflection of the general reality. Okay, so I gave you 2 reasons why you cannot trust polling. One is they have an agenda, and one is they're taking a general statement and trying to connect it with a small group, okay? So 2 reasons why polls are not accurate. Now I have another argument. Besides for the fact, my first argument is that the polls aren't accurate. My second argument is, even if the polls are accurate and Sliwa is trailing, that's not a reason to be like, Sliwa should drop out and let Cuomo win. No, Cuomo's a motherfucker, he should not win. Mamdani is a jihadi, he should not win. So what should you do if you really believe the polls and you really think Sliwa doesn't have a chance? So stop posting anti-Sliwa shit, start posting anti-Cuomo shit and get Cuomo to drop out. And instead of getting Sliwa to drop out, get Cuomo to drop out. Look, I actually like Sliwa. I've watched him for a long time, way before he ever said anything about becoming a mayor. I'm talking probably, I want to say 10 years ago, I was already watching him and I knew who he was, okay? I want to say probably 10 years ago, I already knew who the dude was. So I like Sliwa. I think he's an anti-Semite. I think he has twisted, warped views about Orthodox and Hasidic Jews. But that's irrelevant to this election. This election is about saving New York City so that in the next election cycle, we'll still have a city to save and we can get an actual good representative. I wouldn't vote for Sliwa. If it was Sliwa against someone with the same policies but less hatred towards Orthodox Jews, I would vote for the other guy. But there's no other guy to vote for. Mamdani's a jihadi and Cuomo's a piece of shit. So if you're in New York City, you should not be telling people, Sliwa should drop out so Cuomo, no, fuck Cuomo. It's not Cuomo versus Mamdani. It's Sliwa versus them too. And you got to get Cuomo to drop out. And everyone should vote for Sliwa, okay? And next election, we can get a Jew lover. If it's so important to you to have a Jew lover, so get a Jew lover next election. This election, you're not getting a Jew lover. Honestly, the one who hates the Jews the least is probably Sliwa. I think Como hates Jews and Mamdani hates Jews. Okay? Sliwa is at least honest about why he hates Orthodox Jews and Hasidic Jews. And someone maybe can educate him on it. I think if a actual ultra-Orthodox Jew, which he hates, would sit down with him and talk to him about like how he thinks we're stealing money from the economy and all this bullshit, which is just anti-Semitic rhetoric, he can actually sit down to him and explain to him, no, Jews actually give a lot more economically to the state of New York and the city of New York than they take from, which you can prove in 4 minutes with paperwork, saying I think he would change his mind about some shit. I think he's a good-hearted person. He can understand. I think he has wrong information. I don't know why. Maybe he watches too much Nick Fuentes. I don't know. Anyways, peace out. It really bothers me. Not because I live in New York, but I want to visit New York. I like New York. I've lived in New York. I was homeless in New York at 15 years old. Okay. I've slept on the sidewalks of New York City. I've done drugs on the sidewalks of New York City. I've been arrested in New York City. Dude, I'm not a New Yorker I wasn't born there or raised there, but I lived there. But at 15, I was living there. 16, I was living there. My grandparents lived there. My uncles and aunts lived there. Got cousins that lived there, I've lived there for a little bit. I think when I was 1, when my family moved from Toronto to New Jersey, we stayed in New York for a little bit. And I care, bro. I want to visit, bro. I don't want New York to be like a place that if you visit America, you can't go there because it's jihadi. No, New York is the apple of the whole United States, bro. And also, it bothers me just how people are acting. I see like Jewish people supporting a fucking Andrew Cuomo. Are you retarded? You're retarded. I see Trump supporters supporting Andrew Cuomo. Are you retarded? Oh, Curtis Sliwa doesn't have a chance? So stop saying he doesn't have a chance and start telling people Cuomo doesn't have a chance. And then you'll see Sliwa will win. Stop being so anti-Sliwa just because you don't think he's popular, because you don't know shit. He's actually the most popular. If you go to the New York City streets and talk to people, no one likes Cuomo. Okay, no one likes Cuomo. Everyone in New York hates Cuomo. Everyone I know hates Cuomo. People like Sliwa. Some people never heard of him, but the people that do, they love him. Okay? Just saying. I never met someone that hates Sliwa. I don't even see people saying bad shit about him on the internet. They're just saying, oh, he doesn't have a chance to win. That's why he should drop out. They don't have an actual policy of his they don't like. They don't have a personality thing about his they don't like. They don't even call him anti-Semite. I know he's an anti-Semite. I know what he hates Orthodox Jews. Most people don't even know that, though. So, yeah, Andrew Cuomo should drop out because he's a piece of shit and no one likes him. Sliwa should win this election, God willing. My hope and prayer, Sliwa will win New York City, fix a lot of shit that needs to be fixed, and then the next election we'll get a good actual mayor, That's my hope. Good luck, New York City. You really need a lot of prayers. God bless you.